Welcome to 2020 and the OKD working group meeting. So Christian, you're here. That's great. Vadim is here as well. And got a good group of people. I put the link at the bottom for adding your name to the attendee list, and we'll get started. And just a quick update from me. We do have the dates and times now for the DevConf CZ OKD working group presence. So if you're coming to DevConf, which is the conference in Brno at the end of January, there will be a talk that Christian will be driving, and I'll be hanging around and ad-libbing to, hopefully, on the 26th. But the OKD working group is actually on the very first day on January 24th. And I will set up a Blue Jeans call. I'm not sure what that equivalent time is for the rest of the world, but I will allow people to dial in and listen in on that and record that. And hopefully, I'm pretty sure the OKD talk will be recorded as well. So that was my quick update. We are also going to be in London, Christian and I, on the 29th of January. So if you're in town on London, there's a OpenShift Commons gathering there, and there'll be a short update from Christian there. So please do join us, and the link to that OpenShift gathering is London 2020 is here, and I'll put that in the thing. And Christian's on the menu at what time did I put you on? At 10:20 a.m. to talk about the OKD release. So that is a free event, and it's open to the public. So you just have to make sure you register. So if you want to come, and we can all hang out at lunchtime together and chat and have some FaceTime there as well. So that's my quick update. If anyone else has managed to get an OKD working group or an OKD related talk, please just let me know at any other conference, and I'll do that. We should probably, Christian, also record an OpenShift Commons briefing on OKD4 once the beta is out the door, but that's a good way to segue into getting an update on where we're at with OKD4 getting to beta from Christian. So Christian, if you'd like to take it away, and if you have any slides or things that you want to drive through, please feel free to take over the screen.
All right. Yeah, I think we can just have a look at the engineering Kanban board in the OpenShift organization on GitHub. That is the second one. Not too much has changed there, but we've been merging some PRs today, Vadim and I, and so there's progress. I hope we'll have most of our CI issues fixed very soon. Then there is the Go modules migration for the installer, which is in review right now for the master branch. And once that lands in master, we can rebase our FCOS branch on top of that, which will make it easy in the future. Yeah, other than that, not too much has changed. So yeah, I think CI is still stuck at one network flake. I don't think there's been any updates on that. Maybe Vadim can chime in on that as well. But yeah, so I do hope that we'll be able to get out the beta before DevConf. It might be a bit too optimistic, but I think it's possible still. And yeah, I hope we'll be able to do it.
So tell me, or describe for everybody maybe, what the issue is that's the blocker here. Just a CI?
Yeah, so there is a test that keeps on failing on the Fedora base OS, Fedora Core OS. and also on Red Hat RHEL 7, I think. So it's a yeah. I don't really know why that keeps on failing. We've escalated it to the right people, the right team, and they should be tackling it soon. I hope. Um, yeah, Vadim, do you have any update on that? That was the networking thing that wouldn't work on FCOS.
Yeah, this one is fun. This is about SDN IP tables and ICMP. So if somebody understands those words, I could guide a person to help us fix the bug. But at this point, it's assigned to SDN team, and we're urging the SDN team to have a look and point us to the right direction. But these are the failing tests. This is why our releases are shown as red, but it can safely be ignored, and we can move on because it doesn't seem to be showing any kind of actual cluster breakage when the test fails.
So when you say that it can be safely ignored, what does that mean? Does that mean we can make a beta?
It means yeah, we cannot release a beta due to that, but the cluster itself installs, runs, and runs correctly as far as I know.
Okay. So, is there anything that that I can do to help facilitate or raise the visibility of that? Is there somebody I should be pushing, Clayton or?
So I think Clayton wanted the test fixed instead of just deactivating it. That was before Christmas though, so we might be able to just nudge him again, and yeah, maybe he'll come up with a solution or let us disable the test for now.
So if you could put exactly which issue it is into the chat so that I know, or is it one of these ones listed here on the screen?
Vadim pasted a link. That should be the right Bugzilla, and it comes up in a few PRs in the CI testing.
Okay, so let me just add that. Blocking beta release.
Okay, so yeah, the thing I'm working on right now is essentially the unification of branches for OCP and OKD in the MCO, in the machine config operator. What we've done right now, or until so far, is just replace the Spec 2 support with Spec 3 support, but we will be going a way of dual support where we can do both Spec 2 and also Spec 3 support. I'm working on that, and that should unify or help us move one step closer to unifying the FCOS and master branches in the MCO again, which would be really nice. I would like to get that into the beta as well, but it's not really a blocker right now. It would just make things a little bit easier in the future. But I'm not super confident we can get the dual support stuff merged in master before the next code freeze, which is I think on the 24th or something, 24th of January. It might be possible. May have to wait till the second beta, but yeah, that's really just reorganizing some code, making it easier to work with the OCP parts there, and it's nothing that should really have an effect on the OKD clusters installing.
All right. Well, I'm just making a note there, and we'll clean that up in a little bit. I had one question myself, and it is pretty basic. Here, I'm just going to go in here. On the OKD website, I have it written down, and I wrote this ages ago, that OKD release corresponds to Kubernetes distribution, OKD 1.1, and we've been calling it OKD 4 whenever we talk about it. What is a better phrase? Should I just remove that phrase from there and put in OKD 4 corresponds to what? Or should I? What's the right phrase to have there? In your
That's
humble
actually kind of interesting. We also need to find just a way of describing OKD. Should it be OKD 4 or should it be OKD 4.x, 4.3, 4.4, or is it just 4? For me, I don't really have a strong opinion on this because I hope we'll get to something like a rolling release, and then the real version will be encoded in like a pseudo semantic version, like RCOS and FCOS do it. So there wouldn't really need to be the 4.x. For me, I would say OKD 4 would suffice, but no strong opinion from my side.
That would work for me too, as a consumer of it and a sometimes builder of it with the 3.x family. It's been helpful that the semantic version followed the name of the branch in GitHub. If we continued something like that with the 4. family, and then probably just have somewhere in a relevant place in the documentation which Kubernetes version 4.3 includes, for example, because the text that you have highlighted there has actually been incorrect for a long time, because OKD 3.11, obviously it's Kubernetes 1.11, but we're not calling it OKD 1.11, for example.
Yeah. So how about, because that brings up the other question I had for today was about the documentation set. So if I say OKD, I just want to put something there. I'm just trying to get in, I'm using the chat to do that. OKD corresponds to, currently, which Kubernetes distribution are we building for? To. What's the number?
So 4.4 is Kubernetes 1.17. 4.3 is Kubernetes 1.16. But 4.2 is Kubernetes 1.14 because the rebase to 1.15 didn't work. It failed tests. So it corresponds. So minor versions are no longer aligning.
Yeah.
We are driven by test results, but not by numbers anymore.
Yeah.
What if we put the Kubernetes version reference in documentation that was actually more specific to the branch? And just put a note here that, if you're working off of the 4.3, if any branch you're looking off of, look at the README that's specific to that branch to see the corresponding Kubernetes release that's been rebased into it.
Alternatively, another way to do this. Alternatively, another way to do this would be. So we are doing. We're doing a 3-number tuple right now for the OKD version. So like XYZ. So we could do XYZ.0.Kubernetes version series. So like, for example, with what we have now, 4.3.0.1.16 or something like that, and that would allow the Kubernetes version series to be encoded in the main version series, so that we actually have a programmatic way to identify it. And when rebases happen, they still move forward properly, and it doesn't really matter what the the main OKD version series is, because the Kubernetes version series is encoded at the least significant numbers.
I could live with that.
Okay, so Neil, can you give me a one-sentence version of that that I can put on the landing page?
Or.x.y.
Why is specifying the Kubernetes version important? How it's being set, it's being mentioned all over the place, on release page, on help about when you install the cluster.
Because people care what Kubernetes features they have available. A lot.
Fine. It doesn't mean we have to change the versioning, which is being controlled by a release controller, and you would have to convince Clayton that it's important. It's changed once during release time. Also, yes, it changes during the release time. Few weeks ago, 4.4 has still been based on 1.16. I would really not overcomplicate this.
I mean, it still kind of matters because of how all the client stuff works, how all the API stuff works. There has to be a way to programmatically determine what the Kubernetes API matches to. And currently, we don't have one, and that is not good.
OC version would show you the version of the client and the server, and definitely includes the actual Kubernetes version.
Yes, but is it in a machine parsable form?
I think it is.
When I tried OC version, it showed me in a human readable form, not that way.
Can output JSON or YAML.
For all output, including that. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, my suggested scheme there, as you can see, Diane, is basically like whatever 4.x.y.z.0, whatever Kubernetes version series, if you want to encode it in the version. I think it makes sense to do so, but whatever, it's not my call.
I think this should really be discussed as an enhancement proposal, and with a clear outline of what the version should include, what data should be in there, and what we don't want to include, and then we can sort of discuss it as an enhancement and everybody can chime in.
Yeah.
And where would we do that? Because I have no idea what that is.
Oh, that is on github.com/OpenShift/enhancements.
Okay.
So what I'm looking for and what I'm going to go with is what's in the chat right now, minus my typos, is I'm going to replace that phrase that's on the landing page with that. If everybody's okay with that, because basically
sounds good to me.
And
yeah, I would also not overcomplicate the versioning scheme right now. I do think it's important to know what version of Kubernetes you're running when you install something. But that's I think the only really important info here. And if we can just spell it out there like this, I'm fine with it.
Okay, and we can debate enhancements and things via the enhancements GitHub list as well.
Exactly.
So I think I agree with Neil. I think it's and James and other people. I think it's very important for people to know quickly and easily what version of Kubernetes that they're running when they're running OKD. So that's to me that's one of the key things. And so I'm just gonna put in a note here. And I'm going to replace that. Diane will. So that will get done today. And let's see, the one other thing, if I can get back to the, oh, I didn't, I lost that link. Sorry, folks. While I just find the right page here. That's the enhancements. What's the link to the engineering page? Just had it a minute ago. Oh well, back. The other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit today was the documentation, and getting the documentation up to snuff. And there it is. And the README for on the master for OKD. Is this now up to date with everything that we need, or is there some more documentation that we should be working on? And I think that's a question for Christian.
Yeah, good question.
And because I know there was on the engineering page, which I'm not finding the link again to. Let me see if I can find it. OpenShift docs. Right here. OKD, the latest OKD release. There's nothing in here yet because we're not beyond beta. But is anyone working on that yet, or is that just auto-generated? I knew there was some pieces that we had talked about earlier that needed to get updated for OKD. Has anyone been working on that to go with the beta?
So this one is generated from OpenShift docs, and they auto-replace OCP with OKD when they are generated. So essentially, we would have the same documentation for both products, which is pretty much what we want. I just don't think it needs to be updated before we go beta. Yes.
Yeah. No. I just there will be some infrastructure additions because we're using FCOS that will be different. So I'm just wondering if that's if anyone's looking at that yet. I'm just trying to.
Actually, I'm not sure I agree that there should be no OKD documentation for the alpha, because one of my friends actually over the holidays attempted to set up OKD4 on bare metal, and he was supremely confused. There was no documentation for it, and he got really frustrated until I pointed out, just go read docs at OpenShift.com and ignore the fact that that there is no mapping of the versions at all to the OKD alphas. And that worked, but like it's not intuitive or obvious. So I'm not sure I agree that not having the documentation published for OKD4 makes sense.
Yeah,
because
it's a toss-up because it's a timing issue too, and resources issue. But I think what I'm trying to get at is in the OKD one, there's going to be some variation from the OCP stuff because of FCOS, and I'm just there's going to be some mention of that, and I'm not sure where that goes in here. So I'll take that as a to-do to look at, but I just wanted to see if anybody else had already been looking at what that difference is and who was going to actually do and where that should be, and the stuff that links back to all the FCOS pieces.
There'll be a few more deployment options too, right? Like the work that's being based on the metal cubed and libvirt based installations that right now those are called out as experimental. Would we expect that documentation to show up in here, or would we just leave that in GitHub for folks that were working on those more edge cases?
I would say for edge case, I mean, this is Diane's opinion, not Red Hat's or anything, but I would say that Metal Cube and libvirt would remain for now as edge cases and live in GitHub. But that's kind of what I'd like to, and maybe we can tease this out on the mailing list a little bit further too, and I'll start a thread there. But that's my concern, is that I think there is not sufficient, but a good starting point in the README on OpenShift GitHub here. Cannot type today, so I apologize, folks.
Actually, I think it's in the OpenShift install.
Yeah, someone
If you're
could throw.
looking for the documentation on bare metal IPI.
Yeah, if you can throw the link in there, that would be great. Yeah, so the README is okay, but it's, as Neil is pointing out, it's confusing for people. So just would like to make sure we have a roadmap for getting it updated in a timely fashion.
I can definitely dedicate some time to the docs after we have the code finished for the beta.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be nice to sort of collect all that in one place and not have it scattered across websites and repositories.
Yeah, because what I'm looking for is a link for right down here, and on this contribute, and this right now goes to 3.0 stuff. So maybe another link here that's read the documentation for the alpha release of OKD 4 needs to get added in here. That's perfect. What does IPI stand for, Charo?
Infrastructure or installer provisioned infrastructure. That's the work that several guys are doing with Metal Cubed, bringing it over to OpenShift.
I heard.
Oh, go ahead.
I heard on a call earlier this morning something from the OpenStack world. Someone referred to an IPI operator. Is this the same thing?
I don't know. I know they're sharing a lot of technology, like Ironic and some other components.
Yeah,
because I've done very little with OpenStack. We're particularly interested in this bare metal IPI because currently most of our technology is still on-prem. We have not, for various reasons, adopted cloud. Something like this gets hypervisor management out of the way for our Kubernetes deployments.
Okay. All right. Back. Nice dog. Pictures here.
He's my buddy.
All right. So cool. And the libvirt ones. Yeah. So what I'd like to do is get that OKD website to have a little bit more accurate linkage to things. So if people can suggest changes to okd.io, I'm happy to add them, and I'll make that other fix with the description too. So to go back to any other open issues that we should be covering off today. Just wondering if I have anything else on the menu. Looking through here, engineering tasks, we've covered that off. Documentation.
Well, we hadn't actually started working on the marketing things about the blog posts and stuff like that for talking about OKD on FCOS and things like that. The other thing is what are we looking for in terms? I may have missed this. This might have happened earlier and I wasn't here, but where are we looking for timeline-wise for the OKD4 beta?
So the beta, I hope we can get it out before DEF CONF at the end of this month.
Okay, so we're looking at 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. It really just depends on how quickly the installer team can review the Go module migration, and then we can rebase the FCOS branch on top of that. And that would be it, yeah.
Okay.
Even if they didn't merge, we're not to merge that in time, we could probably get the beta out without that being in master.
Why is everything being held up on Go module migration?
So that is very important for the for vendoring Ignition V2 and V3 at the same time. So we've already moved to Go modules with the FCOS branch, but we needed to do it in a way that that didn't rip out any of the existing infrastructure providers. So that's why on the FCOS branch right now we don't have Azure support, for example. We had to take that out to move to Go modules, and with the new Go module migration, that will just continue to support everything that is already supported.
Okay.
So my goal for everybody, and I'm not doing any coding whatsoever, is to have this a beta-ish release for DevConf and for the Commons gathering on the 29th. So if we can have all of these documentation links, and so we can start using that as a jumping off point for doing some marketing of this release to get more eyeballs on it. So writing that Fedora magazine and blog posts and doing another briefing will come from me. I think that needs to be the focus for the first weeks of February. And so that's if you, and I've just come back yesterday from winter break. So Neil, I'll start re-upping working on that Fedora magazine post. I think the first step for the Fedora magazine post is to submit the idea for it.
Right.
And I can do that today, and I'll put your name, or you can do that and put my name with it if you don't mind.
I don't know how to submit a thing for the Fedora magazine. That's a good question.
I tracked it down. I think the link is in that document there. I tracked it down before Christmas. I'm not quite sure. Link to the proposal process.
Okay. Yeah, I'll submit a proposal. I'll submit a thing then.
Yeah, and then we'll get that out there, and that would be great. And then there's another question in the chat that Joseph is asking. When do you think the automatic updates for OKD will work? It seems to be a matter of moving CI images to Quay. Is there a quick answer for that, Vadim?
Vadim is left. He would probably be the best person to ask about that.
Okay. I'll assign that to him. How's that? Back one.
So I don't think we'll be moving CI images to Quay though. There's an internal registry within the CI, and then we promote images from there to Quay, which then becomes a release. And so, yeah, and the second question down there, OCP 4.4 is planned for the summer, but we don't really need to couple our versioning of OKD with those. So the aim would definitely be to get OKD GA, OKD4 GA out as soon as possible, and that may even be before OCP 4.4. Could be around the same time. I'm not really sure. It also just depends on the progress we're making and on the hurdles we'll have to jump over. But yeah, I believe we could possibly do it before or get GA before OCP 4.4, but it might be around the same time.
So this begs the question, and I'm sorry if I keep hammering on this, is if I put this phrase, the current alpha OKD 4 release corresponds to this, should I also put a second line in that says something about which version of OCP it relates to? Or is that just utterly confusing to everyone?
Yeah, I think that's just confusing because OKD is essentially the master built from the master branches of OpenShift and the master branches of OpenShift. I used to build OKD while the version branches 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and so on, or release 4.3, I used for the OCP product. While we build OKD from master.
Right.
So should I put in a line like that? OKD is built from the master branches of OpenShift. Or is
that would be, that's our aim. So right now we have forked or branched the installer and the MCO. And we're not doing that there actually. We're actually trailing the master branches with our FCOS branches a little bit because we don't rebase them very, very frequently. But that is definitely an aspirational goal. But I don't, I think OKD is built from, I don't really think we need to say, but if anything, then OKD is built from the master branches of OpenShift.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm not going to say anything about OpenShift master branches in my description when I update the okd.io page. And yes, James, I'm looking forward to that day when the CentOS PAS-SIG builds OKD versions.
So what exactly is the plan there for the CentOS PAS-SIG? What are they going to do?
James, do you have any insights? You might have to unmute yourself.
I'm definitely interested in hearing about that and helping out with that wherever I can.
They're basically what James has written is they're waiting for us to get the GA out, and then they'll build 4X versions and a CentOS versions from CASA. What is CASA?
CoreOS assembler.
That's the CoreOS assembler, yes.
So that means that there's going to be a CentOS-based CoreOS, which is going to, Jesus. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Yeah. As I say, they're all wonderful aspirational goals. That's my word of the day. These are my aspirational goals for 2020. Is the CentOS version of.
I have, I don't know. It would be nice if we maybe take people who were interested in that effort and just have them join the two other efforts that we have going on, which are OKD on FCOS and FCOS itself. It'd be nice if we have two things that are going really strong before we try to add more, but I understand that, people's interests are different, and if your needs aren't with Fedora CoreOS, then you should work on what you. It would be nice if you could to use Fedora CoreOS.
Yeah.
Yes.
It would be lovely. Again, I think of it, and as James is saying, and I'm not James, you can always unmute and say it out loud. I don't need to read things for you. I think I would love to have a CentOS thing, but I also would love to have all the resources coming to bear on one operating, just CoreOS, rather than multiples. But that's Diane's aspirational goal.
Well, it feels like it would be easier to get to the others if we were really good at one to begin.
Yeah, and that's not my aspirational goal. That is my goal. So let's do that, and then we'll just, if James, if you can just keep us in the loop of what the CentOS folks are thinking on these calls, that would be great. And perfect. All right then. Anything else people want to bring up? I will get everything all the talks recorded at the end of January and up on YouTube for use in blog posts and stuff. And then February, really, besides getting feedback on the beta, to your question, Neil, will be the month that we spend time doing some outreach and publicity for OKD4 and getting the word out. Having the documentations.
I mean, I'm excited. Like after my friend got his bare metal deployment set up UPI style with Terraform and Silly Putty, it looked pretty cool. So now I want to see it actually work properly and show it off to other people.
No, I think we're gonna. I think this is a much anticipated release, and you will be surprised at how many people are going to pay attention to this, and hopefully what that will do will drive more eyeballs and engineering resources to both FCAUS and OKD itself, and then those people who would like the CentOS stuff that will come there too. I'm getting a lot of interest anecdotally in OKD4, and we'll definitely be having. I think we're going to see a nice little wave of people coming in and supporting the efforts, which probably means there'll be a tsunami of issues and requests for new features. And so my goal is to guide them into this working group so that we can make them work on it with us. So that's what I have. But there's nothing else for today. I would ask if we could start a thread around documentation on the email list. I'll just make a basic one asking for what updates I should make to the okd.io site in terms of documentation and where I should link to. We can have a debate about that online and move it forward that way. And I'll make some updates to the okd.io site. And if anybody sees other things that I should put on the OKD website, please just let me know. It is, or if these are the wrong projects to be linking to, obviously there's some things missing, like there's not an FCAUS link. Is there an FCAUS logo for anything?
I think it's just the old.
There is a Fedora CoreOS logo, and that should probably show up somewhere.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have some cross-branding.
Does Docker come off of there, or at least add the additional cryo? Oh,
yeah, because so right now we've got CoreOS here, which is weird, and it should probably be revised to the Fedora CoreOS logo.
Okay, so if you can send me or post it and just flag me on that as an issue, and send me the logo, I will do some updates to this site before we get to DevConf. And work with me so that
I actually don't know where there's a full version of that logo. Dusty, do you know where there is one? Because I find the little subtext variants all over the place on the Fedora website, but not like the full Fedora CoreOS logo. I know it exists. I just don't know where it is.
This is the only...
I think I got it somewhere and used it in a presentation.
If you can see my screen right now, there's a little CoreOS logo here.
Yeah, that's the subvariant logo. There's like an actual full Fedora CoreOS logo somewhere, but it's not on the Fedora website, which is really annoying, actually.
I don't know about like official like a vector graphics file or anything, but if you go to the Get Fedora website, which I just linked.
There's one right here under the emerging editions.
But we should probably have something a little more official somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, for now, Diane's going to add that into Diane's daily task. It gets longer as the day goes on, just so you all know. So anyways,
I know that feeling.
If it's anything like my job, Diane, is creating tasks lists is the job, right?
that
I
task,
know that feeling super
I don't
well.
stop. Those are the ones that I don't stop working on until till that's how I know my day is ended, when I get the ones on that list done. So yeah, so I can't go home until that's it. But actually, I work from home, so I'm always this. Joseph is asking Dusty a couple of CoreOS questions here. You would like to, when will it be released and when will it be available on Azure? Because I think we need an installer for it. I'm assuming on Azure.
Sorry, I'll look at the questions real quick.
It's in the chat.
So as far as when will it be released, I think all we can say right now is soon. We're doing some enablement work for the stable stream, but we've always had a policy of not really giving exact dates for things because it's community, right? So soon on that one, and join our weekly meetings if you want to see progress updates on that. Those happen on Wednesdays at 16:30. 16. I'll have to check that.
I think that's the correct time.
And then as far as Azure, so for Azure, we are currently blocked on legal for creating the images in Azure, but we have the artifacts. So for example, if you want to use Azure, all you would need to do is take an image that we've created and upload that into your account in Azure, and then you can. So you won't need to use the installer, and we should publish a short little how-to on how to do that. Right now, we're blocked on legal for getting Fedora CoreOS into Azure, with basically us uploading the images to share. So that's the status update there.
Maybe if you can add those answers in on this chat here. I think there's, Dusty, there might be, it might be time when we do the beta in the first week of in the Fedora magazine article or somewhat, to have like an FAQ that we cross-link on both sites for how these things are done too. So
yeah. Another thing too, so I think there was one other ticket that you had in there that was related to me. I think it was related to GCP. And I don't have access to edit this board. So I was going to go in and comment, but I can't actually go in and respond to your questions. I won't be able to update this one either.
So you don't have access to do this. Jeez, and crow.
Yeah, I think I asked around, and I don't know how it's set up by organization or something, but I was not able to update it. So maybe we can, if you want me to try it again, I can try it, or if you like change something. And,
try again, and
okay.
Email me if you can't get it, and then we will figure out how to do that. And
that's good.
We're going to make this a bit more open, or if it's something that's in the Fedora CoreOS, I can link an item in this item for you, so in this board for you somewhere. We'll figure it out. All right. So, is there anything else that we should be covering off today? I'm checking again in the chat. And Joseph, thank you for all the questions. This means, trust me, you're going to get tapped to do some writing at some point, Joseph.
One quick question is the mailing list still the appropriate place to communicate questions and things with this core group, or do we want or need a different way as more of us start that are outside of the Red Hat ecosystem start standing these environments up and testing with them and things? Because some of us will be doing it in various cloud providers. Like I said, I'm really interested in the IPI stuff. and it'd be nice to be able to throw things out to this core group of folks, especially those of you who are really close to the dependent projects like Metal Cubed and Fedora Core OS.
Mm-hmm. I would like to say keep putting it in the main thing for transparency and just so that it's all in one place. Into the and I'm referring to the Google group list. Yeah.
The mailing list.
I would like to see things stay there until we get a little bit more solidified. And that way it keeps it open and maybe gives more visibility to things we need worked on to external people from this group, not just external from Red Hat, but
Yeah, works for me.
more transparent. So,
Diane, that project board, is that project /1? Or is
yeah,
that
it's project 1. Yeah,
like missing?
you're missing it. Okay. Well, we'll work
Wait,
on that.
yeah, no. I can see everything, but which column was that in? I thought there was like an open column.
Yeah, it's the third column on the board, open tasks and questions now. I just renamed it questions because there's a lot of questions that are coming up.
All I see are to-do, known issues, in progress, in review, and I'll follow up with you afterwards.
Yep, there's a link there.
Okay, all right, yep. So there's 2 different boards.
Yep, one's just the community for driving this meeting, and the other one's actual engineering tasks, which this community one should have links back to for each thing. And you can put in links to something over in Fedora World if you like.
Perfect.
This is the one that I use to set the agendas for meetings. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go back to your days. And again, welcome to 2020. And it's going to be a big year for OKD4. And I am looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible in this next European tour at DevConf and in London. So if you are coming, please let me know and let's hang out and get some FaceTime.
Yeah, let's go into Thomasville, North Carolina.
And no, not actually. I think in June I have to come back to Raleigh.
Oh, well, there you go. You'll be close by.
Yeah. And okay, thank you for asking that question. The next meeting would be in 2 weeks' time, and let me just see, on 21. I think on 21, I will be probably on an airplane or somewhere.
Shouldn't we be doing it from the live from the DevConf?
Yeah, that would be on the 24th. Yeah. So if people don't mind not being on a Tuesday,
Sure.
we could do it on the 24th, and that will be our next meeting. We'll be live from DevConf, and that will be a weird time for everybody. So I will find out what that time is and put it in here.
Let's first find out what the weird time is and then decide whether or not we're going to kill the regular meeting for that, because it sort of depends on whether or not people can actually make it.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. I think I can, but what am I thinking? Why am I going? No, I won't be able to run the meeting, so because I will be in Vienna on the 24th. But I actually think because there's so many little moving pieces that we probably should have a next meeting on the 21st at the same time.
Like, I know I can make it to the meeting on the 21st because I've got this block like basically scheduled so people don't bother me during this time.
Yeah.
But other times I have to figure out what the heck's going on, and it sort of depends.
So let's try and do one on the 24th, but that Christian and I will show you how to set it up and get into it. But Christian, you'll have to run the meeting because I will not.
On the 21st or the 24th?
On the 21st. I can do it on the 24th, but I can't do it on the 21st because I will be, I think, on a train somewhere.
Yeah, I can do it, no problem.
Okay. All right. So thank you guys and everybody for coming, and next time, bring all your friends, and more bodies are welcome. So there you go. And
Thank you. Bye.
bye all.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Bye bye.
Here, guys.
Thank you all.
All right. Bye.
Bye.